Back at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, pit road has just been opened. The leader is in at lap 39. Marty?
Alan, I'm here in Jeff Burton's pit. He is going to top off fuel and go to the end. They feel like their race car is running really well right now. He's just biding his time, but they are ready to go all the way to the end after this pit stop. Gary?
We've got Marcos Ambrose in. We've got a traffic jam. Runfellow's dived in front of him. Pruitt goes by on the outside. His pits are way on down. Watching the service for Ambrose here. And Vince, it is wild. Ambrose is away, followed by Fellows.
Scott Pruitt's taking on fuel, and there's a near collision with Michel Jourdain as he exits the pit lane. No tires for Pruitt, just fuel, and they banged out that right front fender damage as well.
So some strategy played here as these teams pull their car to pit road on lap 39. So that's 35 laps to go, and 33 was the number we heard from most of the teams as their limit on fuel. And don't forget, there's always the possibility of a green-white checker overtime at the end of this thing, too.
I'm sure these guys are hoping for a caution, at least one more. Hopefully it won't be as long as this one with the Major League cleanup.
Marty.
The numbers 99 and 37 teams just came in as well, guys, and they are cutting it very close. They feel they can make it to the end if we only go the scheduled distance. Green-white checker, those boys are done.
All right, so the plot thickens. Patrick Carpentier and Boris Said did not stop. They take over the top two spots, still under caution in Montreal. Welcome back to the Napa Auto Parts 200 presented by Dodge, the NASCAR Busch Series racing at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal for the first time. Coming to the green flag here, Marcos Ambrose, who led before the pit stops, will restart in 11th spot. Gary?
He lost some ground, no question about that, on that pit stop in an amazing traffic jam down here, and there's concern from Ernie Cope about the fact that they do not have enough fuel. He says, we are 3 laps short from going the distance. So they gambled, they came in, but they still need another yellow.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes, they have. Road courses sometimes have been won on fuel mileage. And RCR teams are betting on it right now.
Yeah, just understand that right here, these two cars, Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton, they were the first off of pit road after those stops. Everybody in front of them did not pit under this caution and will have to stop again before the checkered flag. Carpentier leads. Boris Said second. Nick Janssen is third. Jorge Getters is fourth. Brad Coleman with an outside bid on him, diving into turn one. Nice move.
Yes, it was.
Look at the bottleneck behind him. Jeff Burton getting tapped.
No, not Hornaday running in -17.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't him. That was the cat that was up his bumper.
Todd Cleaver not on the lead lap in that 16 car for Roush. There's just no place to go to get out of the way. Whoa, Pappas almost found the grass on the side of the course. And then one car.
I'm sure that was a much-needed break for everybody. Everybody got their fluids, they rehydrated, they drank a bunch of fluids, and they're ready to get up on the wheel for the last half of this race.
Well, you know, the other thing I was... So Kevin Harvick, wow. On the restart.
There.
Bounced it off the wall.
Well, obviously, the guy in front of him was slowing down, and he was either running to back up or go around him.
Side by side in front of him for a spot. 27 is Getters. 90 is Stephen Light. Neither one stopped under the caution flag. Wonder if Harvick did any damage to that left front.
Well, he didn't hit it at an angle. He just kind of scrubbed it on a kind of a side slap.
I don't see any smoke there, so that looks pretty good.
He's got the Montreal stripe.
A new tradition.
Yeah.
How about the Harvick's team and their strategy, Marty?
Alan, crew chief Shane Wilson just came on the radio and told Kevin Harvick, man, we need a couple cautions to make this work, but we can't forfeit track position. So do what you do. Go race.
Drivers love to hear that.
You know, here's the other thing I was thinking about, Randy. You were talking about the drivers getting a little chance to have a breather with that long caution to clean up the oil. The brakes got a breather under that long caution, too. How much must that help some of these guys?
A lot. I'm sure these guys got a bunch more pedal. We heard Hornaday say earlier this pedal went down about an inch. I'm sure it came back up once that thing gets cooled off.
Watching the race for second, Boris Said in the 9, holding off Nick Janssen in the 28. We saw Janssen earlier when he was the one that kind of triggered that little spin between Michel Jourdain and Ron Hornaday right in this part of the racetrack in the opening couple of laps of the race. Janssen is a 40-year-old, originally from Sweden, now lives in Beaufort, Georgia. Had a birthday. Actually is having a birthday today. Turns 40 years old. In his first ever NASCAR race, veteran of the American Le Mans Series, the Rolex Sports Car Series, the Grand Am Series. He knows how to get it done on a road course. He's just learning these race cars for the first time.
And I'm sure if Ron Hornaday gets to him, he will give him a birthday present.
He's going to have to go a ways to catch up to him.
Yes, he will.
Hornaday's back in 14th spot. And right now, Janssen is third.
This here is a Haas Racing with Jerry Robinson team. And it's a neat little association those guys have.
So the pit stops could come at any time for these guys who haven't pitted yet. All these guys at the front of the pack. And a couple of best friends going to race for a spot here. Brad Coleman in the 18 and Stephen Light in the 90.
Doing a wonderful job. Both of these guys are.
Yeah. Light with a bid.
I think Coleman says you can go there, but he was pointing him and he wasn't telling him he's number one, so that was okay.
Gary, how about this 18 car?
Now, Brad Coleman is saying right now, or hearing from his crew, that they will pit in 3 laps. That gets them definitely in their window. He's looking awful racy, however, for this young man. And Bryce Cobb, a spotter for him. He was the guy who discovered him karting in Texas when he was a 12-year-old. Now here he is 7 years later, beating and banging in Montreal in the Busch Series.
Wow, that was close for second spot. Nick Janssen looking inside of Boris Said.
I'm surprised we haven't seen some of these guys preparing for the X Games tomorrow.
Doing jumps and things?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's been a pretty timid race so far. I shouldn't say timid, tame by what was expected.
Exactly.
Janssen inside of Said, who's going to pit road. Boris Said gives up second spot for a pit stop at lap 43. And this would be the planned final stop of the day for this 9 car. So they'll be looking to get this thing very full of fuel. And we'll see how he comes out in relation to some of these other guys a bit later on. Vince?
That's right, Alan. This is just a gas and go for the 9 car of Boris Said. He has really liked his race car throughout the course of the day. And, you know, as a road course veteran, he has been doing his best to conserve the tires and the brakes. And they knew that that was going to be the key as they came in today. So it's just a gas and go, fill it up as full as they can get it, and send him out his way to get to the end.
One color they don't want to see from now on is yellow.
Well, and yet the asterisk I'll put on that for you is that 21 car right there, Kevin Harvick. Remember, they say they're good to the finish. Maybe.
Yeah, it's always maybe.
On fuel, or they're not planning on stopping again, so that's a trick. If the yellow comes out, Harvick and Marcus Ambrose there in the 59, they get a couple extra, they buy some fuel if the yellow comes out. But Boris is so far behind now, if these guys don't stop and they don't run out of fuel, he's got no hope of catching them.
No, that's right. I mean, Marcus is having a career day. He's just loving it. He's like, man, there's not many times I get to drive past Kevin Harvick. That's for sure.